Okay, well, hi everyone, and this is a recording for exercise 1, week 4. And I do apologize for having problems in our live session where I was unable to actually demonstrate on my screen. So here we are, and I brought up the document that we were working on because I wanted you to grab your textbooks. I'm going to start exercise 1 by looking at figure 6-2, and again, here's some reminders. Get that textbook. If you're using version 7, you're on page 233. If you're using version 8, you're on page 229. And this is what your document should look like. Now, I want to walk you through this really quick so you get an idea of what we're going to do. Each of these here, the A, B, C, D, E, these are tasks that we are going to enter into Microsoft Project. Now, first off, I'm just going to say A and B and C are terrible task names. They mean nothing. I would never identify a task by a letter. But for the purposes of our exercise, that's exactly what they've done. So we have task A, task B, task C. Now, after the equal sign, we have the duration. So notice that all durations are in days. So A1, task A, equals 1 means activity A has a duration of 1 day. So where you see the equal sign and the number, that's the number of days that we're going to put in. All right, let's get into Microsoft Project. When you start Microsoft Project, you'll be asked if you want to create a new project. So this is what you have. And this is, when you say new project, this is what you're presented with. Well, probably doesn't give you a lot of good information at this point. But this, I'm going to go ahead and get us started. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to enter all of my tasks and all of my activities. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go task A. And the duration for task A is 1 day. Now we know that because our diagram has A equals 1. Let me come over here. I just hit the down arrow and I'm down 1. Now I'm going to enter task B. I'm going to hit the tab key and now I'm going to enter a number 2 because if you look, B equals 2 days. Our next task is C, tab. C happens to be 3 days. All right. Now I'm going to come down and I'm going to go D. How many is D? Now I have to come back up. I have to come back up in the diagram because we did A, B, C. Oh, there's D right over here. D has 4 days. E has 5 days. F has 4 days and G has 6. All right, so I'm going to start working down this way. Let me come back over to project and I'm going to go E is 4 days. Whoops, I didn't put in the number of days for D, so D is 4, pardon me. E is 5. F is 4. G is 6. All right, now I'm going to walk myself back over and I see H, and H is also 6. I have to come down to see I, and I is 2. And then the last task I have is task J, and that is 3 days. All right, so notice over here on the side, it looks like all of my tasks are starting on April 17th and they all line up, boom, 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 boom. Okay, so what you would see here is it looks like every single task is being done at the same time. Now there's one thing I want to do real fast. I want to put this into auto schedule. So I'm going to come over here to the side. Notice I came all the way over to the side. Click and drag all the way down through all of my tasks. And notice up here on my ribbon bar, these things were manually scheduled. I'm going to click on the auto schedule button. All right, so it change the appearance. And what you'll notice is when we change to auto schedule, things are going to move around a little bit better for us. But now let's go back and look at our diagram. I have all of my tasks entered with their durations. Great. Now, but if I look at this, it doesn't look like all the tasks start at the same time, do they? It looks like I have task A, B, and C all starting at the same time because they come off over here and they go 1, 2, 3. Okay? So in Microsoft Project, task A, B, and C would have no predecessors and they would all go at the same time. Now let's take a look at this again. So task D, well now wait a minute, it looks like I cannot start task D until task A right over here is complete. Now if I walk back here, here's D, I come down and I can't start D until A is complete. It looks like that's my path. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to select the predecessor for D. Now I need to set the predecessor for D to be task A, but here's where it gets a little tricky. I can't give it a name. I can't give it the task name. I have to give it the task number. So task A, the number is 1. So I'm going to type a 1 here. Okay, now when I did that, notice what happened. Task A dropped a line all the way down here to task D, and what that means is task D is not going to start. And notice how it moved. It moved it over to the right, meaning that task D is not going to start until A is finished. All right, let's take a look at E. E, over here, cannot start until after B is finished. All right, let's take a look at E. Here's E. I'm in the predecessors. Task B is task number 2. So I'm going to put a number 2 here, and I'm going to drop that down. And notice that everything shifted to the right, and now I've got that arrow to indicate that these two tasks are linked. Let's look at F. Oh, F is kind of the same. F comes off of the same thing that E comes off of. So if I look at F, F also has task B as a predecessor. So I'm going to come over here, and I already know that task B is task number 2, and I'm going to put a number 2 and hit enter. Okay, you're starting to see things moving around and lining up a little differently. Let's go look at G. Down here on the bottom, task G starts after task C. So let me come over here. Task C is task number 3. I'm going to put in a 3 and hit enter. Things are moving. Let's look at H. H. Well, this is interesting. H might be a little bit different. H, coming off of this node right here, is task H, and that comes down. But notice that there are 2 arrows that point in here. So what we're looking at is that there are actually 2 tasks that need to be completed before we can work task H, and that would be D and E. Let's go back and look. All right, so I'm sitting on D. All right, sitting over here on D. I'm sorry, I'm sitting on, let me back up again. I'm sitting over here on H for the predecessors, and I need D and E. Task D is 4, E is 5, so I'm going to put a 4, comma, 5 and hit enter. Now look at what happened. All of a sudden task H gets shifted way over, and it gets shifted to over after task E is finished. And it's got 2 arrows coming down to indicate the 2 precedents. Let's look at task I. All right, well, task I starts after G is finished. So I'm on I. G is task 7, so I'm going to put a 7 here. All right, and the last one is J, and J is interesting because look at where J has. J has 3 tasks that come in right here before J can finish. We have H, F, and I. So help me remember, it's H is number 8, F is number 6, and I is number 9. So, and you don't have to have them in order. Notice I have 8, 6, 9, 8, 6, 9. We can do that. All right, and now we have our schedule done. This is exactly what you're going to do when you look at it. So now you're looking at something called a Gantt chart. You've got all of your tasks entered, the durations and the predecessors, and we have this nice schedule chart over here. Let's look at the network diagram. So if you come over here to the Gantt chart and click on the second half, and it'll open up. We want to look at network diagram, which is right under the Gantt chart. Now our network diagram shows us our critical path. Our critical path is the longest path through the project. Longest path through the project. So task A, B, and C, they all start at the same time. How you calculate the longest path through the project is pretty easy. Look at the durations. I have duration A with 1 day, goes to D, 4 days, so now I'm at 5, and that goes over here to H, 6, so 5 and 6 are 11, and then down here to J is 3, 11 and 3 is 14. So my longest path, or so my total number of days here are 14. Let's look at this path. 2, 5, 7, up to here, 7 and 6 is 13. Down to here, 13 and 3 is 16. So this path is 16 days. Come down here, 2 and 4 is 6. Over 3, 9 days. Here I've got 3 and 6 are 9, and 2 is 11, and 3 is 14. That's how you calculate your critical path. And the best part is that Microsoft Project will calculate it for you. You don't have to do a thing. Your longest path through is highlighted in red, and we just did the math to prove that. Okay, so we can go back to our Gantt chart. That's it. So this is exercise 1. Save your document, call it exercise 1. I'm going to stop this recording, and I'm going to start on exercise 2 for you.